All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Minnesota Vikings. They are now 5-4 after winning 4 straight football games. No Kirk, no problem. Josh Dobbs comes on over, gets traded on Tuesday. Not a single practice rep the entire week. He didn't even practice. He doesn't even know his teammates' names. He doesn't know most of his teammates' names. He finished with 224 total yards, 3 combined touchdowns, 0 interception. Here's a fun fact. He had more rushing yards last Sunday than the Arizona Cardinals had of offense. And to make it even sweeter, Justin Jefferson is back and practicing. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play this upcoming Sunday, but if he does, that would go a very long way because here are the Vikings' playoff chances this upcoming week. They play the Saints. With a win, they have a 74% chance to make the playoffs. With a loss, it falls down to 41%. Now, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I will just say I love the remaining schedule for the Minnesota Vikings. But at the end of the day, man, you're going to have to win some big-time games. You got Detroit twice, and you've got the New Orleans Saints at home this upcoming Sunday. I think being at home is going to go a very long way, especially considering Joshua Dobbs' road victory, 31-28. I mean, it was spectacular. It's something we have just genuinely never seen before, and I don't know if we'll ever see something like it again. But before we get into today's video, before we do, hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Vikings fans, I try to post at least one Vikings video every single week, so if you guide this video to 250 likes, that would mean the world to me. You guys absolutely blessed my last video after that victory. Thank you guys so much. We learned a lot, man. The Minnesota Vikings started the season off 0-3, and everybody was sounding the alarm. But we're sitting back here, we're saying, hold on, just hold on, give it some time, give it some time. Kirk Cousins, the week before he got injured, the dude absolutely lit up San Francisco. But we're learning a lot right now that Josh Dobbs, with Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and hopefully Justin Jefferson, the Vikings have the pieces for Dobbs to succeed. Now, I've seen a lot of comparisons to last year's Miami Dolphins or whatever. I don't even care, because football and sports in general is just a game of momentum. So yes, Kirk Cousins is done for the season, but that doesn't mean I'm trying to wave the white flag and just get a better draft pick. I'm still trying to win. They won 13 football games last season. Kevin O'Connell, by the way, mad respect to him. You got to give him props. He is a phenomenal play caller, in my opinion. Basically, Josh Dobbs was being taught the plays in the headset as they were being called. And keep in mind, this is without your left tackle. This is without the best wide receiver, at least the top 3 wide receiver in the league, in Justin Jefferson. KJ Osborne got hurt with a concussion, and Cam Akers also got hurt. Dobbs is great in situational moments. Everybody loves him. He's an extremely smart, extremely bright dude. I'm sure you've all heard the rocket scientist stuff. One thing we really honed in on our last Vikings video is, you ask any former team, any former fan or player on a team that Dobbs has been a part of, they all absolutely love him. They absolutely love this guy. So, like I said, man, I don't know if we'll ever see something like that performance again. Maybe that's jumping the gun. I know he had a couple of fumbles, but they still won the football game. And he still had 3 total touchdowns, and he did have 0 interceptions along with 224 yards. What I do love is the New Orleans Saints, to me, are no big threat. If they win this football game, watch out for the Minnesota Vikings. The Jaron Hall concussion was definitely unfortunate, but I think he's got a very bright future. And I think if Minnesota can get into the playoffs, momentum is back on their side, because at the end of the day, man, you still have Justin Jefferson. You still have these studs on offense, defense. You're still well coached. And Minnesota is a great football state. It's a great city in general. I love Minneapolis. I love visiting that city so much. Joshua Dobbs, 7 rushes for 66 yards and a touchdown. I think that's going to go a very long way. Basically, we talked about this in our last video. I think the last mobile QB from Minnesota was Teddy Bridgewater. Now, Kirk Cousins is a phenomenal QB, one of the more underrated QBs in this league. But I genuinely think Josh Dobbs can get this team to the promised land. Or by promised land, I do mean the playoffs, not the Super Bowl. Like I said, we'll take it week by week. Another thing I want to mention is the defense. The defense has been steadily improving as the weeks go by. Statistically, they're giving up about 21 points per game. That is ranked 17th in the league. But I think San Francisco, Green Bay, Chicago, the 3 weeks leading up to last Sunday's victory over Atlanta, and even that Atlanta game, the defense does what they need to do when they need to do it. And I think Brian Flores, new defensive coordinator coming on in, this is something that for the second half of the schedule, now that we're into it 5-4, 9 games in, this is something that I think is really going to start clicking. We've seen it in the last month or so. People were concerned. People were worried about the defense. You're seeing guys really step up and making plays. Byron Murphy had a huge interception last week. Jordan Hicks is still doing his thing. He's got like 80 tackles on the season. You've still got Hunter. You still have Harrison Smith. You've got Cam Bynum, who's just done a phenomenal job, especially as of late. He's also got like 80 tackles as well on the season. Don't be fooled by the lack of quote-unquote superstar names on this defensive side, because this is a group that is just steadily improving week to week to week. The last thing I want to touch on for this Vikings team are 2 players. Alexander Mattison, because now that Cam Akers is hurt, this Vikings rushing offense has been extremely lackluster the entire season. They're averaging just 81 rushing yards per game. That is 3rd to last in the National Football League. Alexander Mattison is averaging 3.6 yards per carry, but he's only averaging 48 yards per game. This is something especially, not necessarily the Saints, but after that, you've got Denver, you've got Vegas. I want to see this run game start to get going back in action like I had anticipated before the season. The Cam Akers injury certainly does suck, but Alexander Mattison, regardless if Cam was there or not, the dude, they just need to step up. Finally, we got Jordan Addison here. The guy's a stud. Jordan Addison is literally a stud, and I think, if Kirk Cousins had finished off this season and it's still in play with Josh Dobbs doing Josh Dobbs things, the Vikings might have one of the best wide receiver duos in the National Football League. In fact, it kind of reminds me of Cincinnati with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I know they're, different players, different skill sets, etc. But Jordan Addison's having a phenomenal season. The dude is just racking up touchdowns. Quiet-ish week, 5 catches, 52 yards. You're going to take that from a rookie. But the week prior against my Green Bay Packers, 7 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown. The week before that, in the huge momentum game against San Francisco, primetime Monday Night Football, Jordan Addison against one of, at that time, San Francisco was clearly the best defense in the league. Stats, eye test, whatever metric you want to use. He had 7 catches, 123 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So Josh Dobbs has talent surrounding him. You've got JJ coming back. You have Jordan Addison. I have my tight end in TJ Hawkinson. I've got Alexander Mattison. They have playmaker after playmaker after playmaker on this offense. And Josh Dobbs, I'm excited, man. I'm very excited. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. If you guys want more Vikings videos, let me know down below. But guys, give me some thoughts. Give me some predictions heading into this big time game. I know it's only week 10. This is a big time game for the Minnesota Vikings. Like we said, their playoff chances with a win, 74%. With a loss, it's 41%. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. But most importantly, drop some comments down below, and we'll see you next time.